Hello and welcome to Jennifer Knatters. I am Jennifer and this is my video podcast where I natter on about mostly my knitting and anything else that catches my fancy. Today is, gotta check my watch. Today is the 14th of March. I am not being really great about getting these out. If you've been watching for a while, you'll know back in January I was so excited that I would be able to record during the day because my youngest child turned 3 and started nursery, and I thought, oh, she'll go to nursery, I'll come home, I'll sit down and I'll record my podcasts. That has not happened. I think I managed it twice, and this is March now, so my record is not the greatest, but my fairy lights are looking extra pretty tonight and I am happy to be here with you. One of the reasons I didn't get this done this week is because I felt like I didn't have any real knitting content to show you. And that's because I basically worked on just 2 things that I finished. And the one I can show you is, this is the Mystery Gnome Knit Along. So if you're mystery gnoming and you haven't, if you're way behind, like I usually am, go ahead and look away if you don't want to see it. But the clues have been finished since March 3rd, so you've had 11 days to have finished your gnome since it all came out. But if you haven't, look away. And this is my wee gnome. That's a little, there we go, give it a little shade. And this was a colorwork gnome, so as you can see, colorwork hat. It's got a new style of beard. This is by Sarah Schira, I think. She didn't have a link on Ravelry to how to pronounce her name. I believe she has a podcast. She has at least a YouTube channel where she does techniques for gnomes, because that was part of the knit along. But I did not see one in which she introduced herself by name and I caught the pronunciation. I didn't watch them looking for the pronunciation, so I hope I got it right. And this is Never Not Gnoming. Imagine Landscape is her design business. Never Not Gnoming is a different gnome. This is Gnome is where you hang your hat. So the gnome has the hat, the beard, the classic nose, little hands. There is more on the body. It just sits. Ta-da! I've even woven in all my ends except this one on the hat because there is a tassel and I haven't decided if I'm going to add it or not. And that would be in this color. So yeah, Never Not Knowing, Mystery, not Never Not Knowing. I don't know why I'm saying that. That is one of the pattern names, possibly the first. And then there's Here We Gnome Again and some other ones. But yeah, this is my little gnome. This is the first gnome I have knit. The pattern did come with a coupon code to buy other patterns at a discount, but it didn't say the expiration date, but when I tried to use it after I finished my gnome and thought that was fun, I'll do another, it had expired. So that was not clear to me, but I know that she usually does the gift along. Excuse me, I've just got a wee bit of a tickle in my throat, not even enough for a cough. A wee bit of a tickle. She usually does the Christmas gift along, and that's a 25% discount. So I guess I will wait until then, and if I still feel like knitting lots of gnomes, I can buy one of the other gnome patterns. Ta-da, little gnome. It is very cute. It is just absolutely adorable, and if you want to see, like when it's not in front of my face, that's how big the gnome is. Otherwise it's bigger than me. Cute little gnome. I wonder if I put it. Can you see it? There, now I've got a gnome friend. I don't know why I crack myself up. The next project I worked on, and I worked on pretty exclusively because it was a test knit, was a DK version of Jessie Mae Designs Ripple Bralette, and the Ripple Bralette is a 4-ply one. So this was intended to be a DK one, although I'm pretty sure everyone who did the test knit wound up using a worsted, or in my case, Aran weight yarn. The UK doesn't really have a lot of worsted weight yarns, so I went with Aran weight. Like, as a classification, it doesn't exist, so other yarns that might be that just are either a heavy DK or a light Aran. Aran and worsted are really similar anyway. Honestly, they exist because there's 2 different countries and have slightly different weight systems. Obviously there's more than 2, but different non-English speaking countries use entirely different classifications for yarn as well. So I'd actually ordered, I will show you, 2 skeins of Ripple Crafts Blue Face Leicester DK weight yarn. And this is the Culkin base, is what that's called, and this is the colorway Waterlock. Ta-da! Lots of beautiful colors in there. Look at those shine. But then the other people, before these arrived, other people were swatching and having to use a worsted or Aran weight yarn. So I pulled out some other Ripplecraft yarn, some Aran weight Ripplecraft yarn that I had in stash. And I did my swatch. This is my 3x3 swatch. And this is my bottom ribbing swatch. I started to pull this out because I thought I was going to need the yarn to finish the project, but I managed to finish the shoulder straps with this much left. So I'll stop here because I'm wearing it right now, but I'm not going to show it to you. I'll stop right here to put in a picture. So hopefully you can see that. And it was a great test knit. I didn't have any problems. I did the recommended size. I volunteered to knit it because she needed someone in my size, and I think I can't remember if there was one other person in my size, which was the 56 to 58 inch full bust. I have a 57 inch full bust. I have a 47 inch underbust. I've got a lot of bust. Excuse me. So I knit the one that was aimed to be a 40 inch stretched, like the waistband and everything was supposed to be 40 inches was the size. So that was negative not a lot of ease, almost 17 inches of ease, and it fit me really well. Yeah, I just knit. I didn't quite get gauge on the 3x3 ribbing. I had to stretch it a bit because the gauge was unstretched, and I had to stretch it a bit, but it fits perfectly, especially because it is ribbing. If it has to stretch or unstretch a bit, it'll still be a bit comfortable as long as you're not completely stretched and don't fit, which was a problem I think the largest sizes have. I was not the largest size. This is a very accommodating pattern for a lot of people. So yeah, I test knit it. It fits beautifully. I love it. My only downside for me is you can't nurse in it, and I have not yet managed to get my 3-year-old to stop nursing. I have not particularly tried since she does. I could do with nursing less, and she feels like we're already not nursing enough, that there should be more. So we are still nursing a little bit, just first thing in the morning, last thing at night, but it doesn't really pull aside, so it's not something I can currently sleep in, simply because last thing and first thing I do need my baby to be able to get to my boobs. But the rest of the time it is very comfortable. I'd wear it around the house. It's supportive and delightful, and there's no reason I wouldn't wear it out of the house, except that because it is Aran weight, it is a bit thick, and most things I put over it, I feel like it would lay funny. Yeah, love it. And that was what most of my knitting since last we spoke. And in my last episode, I had knit the framework bra that she had designed, which is also a DK intended weight. And having now knit this one, I know that that one I should have done a smaller size and made it a lot longer. Excuse me. And that is a potential use for the yarn I ordered this time. So yeah, I might knit another framework bra in those beautiful colors. And then I will have more lounge bras, because you can never have too many lounge bras. Honestly, a bra that just kind of keeps your boobs from moving around too much and is otherwise it's just supportive enough and just comfy enough that you don't, like, you feel relaxed and everything. Lots of those needed in every embosomed person's lives. So having done that, I picked up my corner to corner blanket, and I will show you. I was there and now I am here. There is a little bit of funkery here because I realized I'd forgotten. I hadn't gone, like, I'd stopped one square short and turned around. So when I came back on the blue, I kind of just took some green yarn and fudged it. Excuse me, I don't know why I can't clear my throat properly. What I was going to say is I had some green yarn spare because I reached my third yarn. I was in this green and then it ended on the bluey teal when last we spoke. So I did switch yarns, but the next yarn ball I started did not start with the blue. As you can see, it ends here with the green. So it started at the green going into the teal. So I did just pull out, is it in the bag still? I just kind of pulled out the center of the cake. So I have all of this green, and then I pulled off the blue bit so I could have the green just to finish, to fix that little corner. I did not fix it properly. I'm fairly new to crochet, so I just misjudged what I needed to do. And right here I did an extra, I'm trying to think, I did the square here, and then I did this square for going back on the next row, and I think that actually should have been just that same. I think it was really just that one, this square, and then the one on top of it, and then I did this one, but that should have just been that square. But it is, this side would have been easier to see that on. These two squares I think exist as the same square in the blanket, but it's okay. It is good enough for crochet. It is good enough. See, like, you can barely see it if you're looking here. I think once the whole blanket is done, no one will ever see it. So just to show you, this is my long edge. Now I'm starting up this side. This side does not look neat or perfect or wonderful. I'm new at crochet. This side is the side that's giving me trouble. This side that I just showed you where my mistake is otherwise, this side is otherwise my good side. But I think it'll be just fine. So yeah, I've only done 1, 2, 3 there and backs since last we spoke. Ta-da! This blue line is going to be bigger than most of the other colors because I've basically done the width that most of the other colors are, and I still have a fair bit more blue. But I think otherwise the blue tended to be a slightly thinner stripe maybe than some of the others. I don't know. I'm fine with it. This is not a precision blanket. This is just something for fun, and then I'm pretty sure this will be my oldest child's blanket. I will probably have left over. I may just start another one for my youngest child with the same colorway, maybe buy one more. I have 5 of those total. I've got 2 in here. I'm on the 3rd. I don't know if I need an entire 3rd before I start decreasing down again. Haven't entirely decided. It's just an as I go kind of blanket. The other reason I didn't work on this a lot, because when I finished my Gnome and I finished my test bralette, and then I thought I will work on my crochet blanket. And my youngest one was asleep. I was in bed. My oldest one came and said, you know, I'd just gotten the blanket spread out across my lap. I had my hook in hand. I was ready to go. And my oldest child came in and said, can you switch my duvet to the lighter duvet? So I put my hook in my pocket and went to go help her. And when I came back, I got my blanket again and I took my hook out and the tip had snapped off. So I ordered a new hook, and this is I think it's a Knit Pro. It is a 4.0, which is probably upside down. There we go. A 4.0, this was just £2. I paid more in shipping than I paid for the hook, but I got it, I mean, I could have gotten it off Amazon and gotten free shipping, but I ordered it from a small yarn business because that seems like a better plan than giving the conglomerate of Amazon my money right now. Kind of irritated with Amazon as a general state of being. That does not stop me from ordering things from them, but I thought a crochet hook I can get from a yarn place rather than a giant Amazon place. Sorry, I'm trying not to clear my throat, but I clearly have just the tiniest bit of a frog there. So the other thing, 2 other things I have worked on, and one of them is my Plum Incunabula by Karie Westermann. And this cat is where I was last time we spoke, and my light is changing. And so this is knit all in one. This is all the way around to the back, and here's the other front. And then the back has a slightly wider cable. And since last we spoke, I finished this was the decreases, which I had done, and then regular waist, and then the increases again. The butterfly stitch marker is where my knit so many rows plain in pattern is. So that's where I am. And I need 17 rows from here. So I'd say I'm probably about halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm a little over halfway. So yeah, oh no, stitches are falling off. Ooga, ooga. I will say, since I had been knitting it on the shorter tips, and I bought the longer tips. These are the 5-inch tips instead of the 4-inch tips. So much more comfortable. For this project, for small diameter projects, the shorter tips are really much better, I have found, for me. But for this project, I did need the longer tips. The bottom is currently flipping up, but that will block out some things. That will block out is a lie. The bottom flipping up, you can block that. When you let it dry straight, it should stay straight. Nope, that's not the color at all. It's a bit rustier than, it's kind of the rustier maybe. I don't know. But I've made progress. I've actually made almost, it's what, 2.5, almost 3 inches there. 1, 2, yeah, we'll call that 2.5. So I have gotten a little bit of work on this. I joined another ball on that, so I'm going right along at a good clip. And I'm very much looking forward to having this done. There are so many jumpers, I'm sorry, the light is changing. There are so many jumpers I want to be working on right now. I have many sweater quantities in my stash, and that's kind of what I feel that I need, is more jumpers for all seasons. And then the last thing I have been working on since last we spoke. See, I actually, at this point, have a lot to show you, but if I had recorded this during the week, I would not have. I would have been like, nope, didn't really do anything. This is the RNLI charity yarn, which I think was called Learning to Swim. And this is version 1. And the last time we spoke, I was about halfway down the heel flap. Since then, I have ripped it all the way back to the beginning, cast on an extra 4 stitches, have knit it down and turned the heel because I've decided that this colorway, while it's beautiful and I love it, it does not speak to me as a sock for me. This is more my husband's kind of thing. And I did say at the previous stitch count, I was getting it perfect. There was none of this pooling where the colors line up and make a spiral. I do not think my husband will care about that spiral. I'm not a huge fan of the pooling. I don't hate it. I certainly wouldn't judge anyone else badly for having it. It's just a characteristic of yarn, but I was really happy that with the stitch count I had knitting them for myself that it did not have that. So I knew coming in that for my husband it would have the pooling, and that is fine. So husband sock, I have turned the heel and I am decreasing away, and then he will have a new pair of socks. The last couple of times I've tried to knit him a sock, they have not fit him, although there was one pair of socks I was going to knit for me and it turned out they did fit him. The Argyle socks, the Heartgyle Argyle socks I knit over the summer, and he wears them. He's actually been wearing them this week. He's like, look, I have them on. I'm like, oh, those beautiful socks. I should knit myself a pair. So yeah, that's a sock for my husbandy. And I think that brings us up to acquisitions. So for acquisitions this week, I have the yarn that I have already shown you, the hook that I have already shown you, and a project bag. And this is the one I'm currently keeping my crochet blanket in. Ta-da! Big ball of crochet. In fact, I have the blanket as a lap blanket. That's what I was trying to say. Lap blanket. So I will put it in here. And with one enormous skein of yarn and 2 enormous skeins of yarn worth of blanket in here, you can see it's still very open. This has a drawstring top and then sides like a regular bag. So even if I had a lot more stuff up here, this part of the bag would just stick up more but still keep it in. And if I didn't say, this is So Beautiful by Nicola. It's right there by my finger. Toot, 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 toot. And this is a new design of bag that she has just added to her shop. So they're kind of just going up in 1s or 2s or 3s. And a lot of them have been selling out. I managed to get this denim one, which is very cute and I love it. I could wish that it would have a pocket. I think you could very easily fit an exterior pocket, you know, just a little flat one right here, or an interior pocket. But it is a really good bag. I did buy one in this design, a little bit of fluff, sorry. I did buy one in this kind of design, the handle bag with the drawstring bag top inside, from another shop, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head, last year, and that one has all of my little minis for the mitered square blanket I'm working on. The thing I like more about this is this has a cotton drawstring top, whereas the other one has like a lining material, a dress lining material, that kind of satiny slip material. I did not love that particular choice, but it is still a really good bag, and it has a cute print, which for me is saying a lot because for the most part I'm not a print person. I'm a solid or a pattern. Polka dots, tartan, lines, stripes, that kind of stuff is usually okay. But I am not, so many people are like, oh, look at the cute pattern. And I'm like, I prefer something a little more subdued. So this one is perfect for me. There are ones in her shop that do have patterns on them, and you are welcome to them. They are, I can appreciate them aesthetically without wanting to be the person who owns them. I do occasionally buy a pattern. These ones are trees. This one is Little Gray Girl. So I do occasionally get patterns. I just prefer them to be more subdued. Yeah, so that is, oh, one more thing for acquisitions. I'm now a bit cold because I took my blanket off. I had the heat out here running for about an hour before I came and sat out here. But now I've got the door open because the cats were both in the kitchen, and I thought one or the other of them might care to join me. They do not care to join me. There we go, that's where I put it. I have one more acquisition, not strictly knitting related, and this is, I'm just going to take out some extra things. I got a bunch of, well, that didn't work. I got you'd think I would have this a little better in hand. I got a bunch of soaps from the Soap Dairy. And this one is Tea in the Bluebells, which is an Earl Grey fragranced one. Dusk. Dawn. This one I think is the unfragranced one. Pioneer. Hunter's Moon. I think this one is supposed to be like a woodsy fragrance. Gathering in the Fell. Bog Myrtle. So I got just a pack of their standard fragrances. Bog Myrtle. Hunter's Moon is juniper. Pioneer is birch tree oil. Dawn is the fragrance-free one. Dusk has charcoal in it. And then this is Tea in the Bluebells is Bluebells and Earl Grey. So those are the fragrances I got because we're not out of soap. We still have lots of hand soap, but we're running a bit low on hand soap because we've got the soaps that we've got in our three. We've got the Half Bath stroke Cloakroom in the UK, Half Bath in the US, has soap in it. The Family Bathroom, which I think works for both countries, has a bar of soap in it, and the Ensuite stroke Master Bath has a bar of soap in it. And then we have a pump bottle of soap by the kitchen sink. And then I have one more bar of soap that we haven't started yet. And they're all good. I mean, most of them are good size soaps to start with, except especially the one in the family bath, which is the room that gets the most use, is looking very small. And that's also where my 3-year-old this week left the bar of soap, sat in the water. I don't know if it was more than an hour before I went back in there and saw it, and it had basically like dissolved down to a third of what it had been. So I was kind of looking at that going, we could use more soap. So I went and I ordered that, and I also got a little pot of hand solve, and this is I will help you focus right there. This is Where the Marshmallows Grow, which has a daisy and pine fragrance. Because the thing I've noticed about all this extra hand washing is my hands are getting really dry. and I don't understand. My 3-year-old washes her hands and they just feel softer and softer, and my hands feel really dry. So I thought a little tin would be a good thing. I mean, I've got like squeezy tubes and stuff, but a little tin would be easy to carry around and keep track of. And then I also got a little tin of cherry fragrance lip balm, which thus far I do not appear to be allergic to. I tend to have asthma attacks after I use natural lip balms. I can use chapstick, no problem, but things that are more natural, I am prone to asthma attacks. I don't know what it is I'm allergic to, but something is clearly not working for me. So that's what I got. And Claire of the Wee County, and that's upside down again. I ordered this from Wee County Yarns, and that's Claire. Her mostly online knitting shop asked if I had ordered any of their shampoo, and I said I actually did order some last year when it launched. I checked, I still have the little box it came in, so I checked the postmark and it came towards the end of February, and she'd had an offer where it was 2 of the shampoo bars that she was launching and a soap dish which is made out of clay. This is my first shampoo, and they do start off a fair bit. I should have brought one of the ones I haven't opened yet, but this is the one I've been using for over a year. It is not the only shampoo I use. I do occasionally use a different shampoo, but I have mostly been using this. I wash my hair once or twice a week. And I am down to this little slither of shampoo. The other one I got at the same time I have in, this is in the ensuite. The other one I have in the family bathroom for the times when I take a shower in there. This is the one for dry hair. And then I asked if instead of the 2 dry hair ones, if I could do, this is the marjoram one, if I could do 1 dry hair one and 1 normal hair one. And I actually think now that I might prefer the one for normal hair. But that is in the other family bathroom, and I've only used it a handful of times because I don't shower, or maybe shower in there once or twice a month. And then I don't always wash my hair. It's not always a hair washing day. So I got those, and then at the Perth Festival of Yarn, because I knew this one was starting to get a wee bit small, I had picked up another one of the marjoram for dry hair. One of the vendors there was selling it. And I also ordered the wool rinse, which comes with a little cotton bag, or at least I ordered the cotton bag. Again, I got this in February last year. I did finish off the bottles I had. I think I had both a bottle of Eucalyptus and a bottle of soak. And I finished those off before, upside down, before starting using the wool rinse. You use hardly any of this. You don't even like lather it in your hands. You just kind of swirl it in the water. And then I actually just have the bag laying on, laying on the thing, and then I just put it back on the bag. And then every so often, if I have something wool rich that I wash in the washing machine, not a hand knit, but like a store-bought thing, I just throw the whole bag, not the bar soap, the bag in, and the soap that has settled onto the bag I feel is enough to wash things. So yes, I have been using their shampoo. I really like it. I think in this light my hair is looking greasy, but it doesn't feel greasy. It's just shiny and a bit wet. So yeah, my hair is very soft. My hair has not been very curly this winter. I don't really understand why. My 7-year-old who has hair that is very much my hair has also, her hair is normally really curly, curlier than mine, and it is basically just flattened out. And I don't know if it's the humidity or the atmospheric pressure or what, but my hair has decided that softly wavy is the best we can go for, so I have decided to embrace softly wavy from my hair and not try to force it to do like the spiral curls I had going on last year. I don't know. It's since I got my hair cut. I got my hair cut in October, and then my curls kind of just flattened. So not entirely sure what happened there. I'm just looking over. I've lost my notebook that I write, so I just have my notes on a piece of paper. The only other thing is for garden, I bought some bulbs. We haven't really done much. It was the garden waste service has started up again, so I did go around and like I had trimmed the roses earlier in the year, but I hadn't picked them up yet, so I picked those up and put them in the bin. And some other things, I trimmed some of the hedge in the front, and now you can really see that hadn't started growing yet or anything, but now you can really see the crocuses that are under them a lot better. And I've got other things I need to just trim back before they start growing in the spring. But that filled up the 2 bins. But I've bought some boxes of summer bulbs that my children and I can plant, and hopefully it'll start warming up and we can do trays of like veg that we'd like to grow. I've got some little plastic frame greenhouse type things, grow houses, but it's not really warm enough even in a grow house to put things outside yet, and I don't have anywhere in the house where the children, like the conservatory seems perfect, but it gets really cold in here and it's the warmth that helps things grow. So I need a warmer room that I could grow things in on trays, and I don't really have that right now. So I just need it to warm up a little bit so I can start sowing things in trays outside, which is good to have at least a few plans, because with the coronavirus going around, like what are you going to do with your kids for a whole bunch of weeks? I want the school closed, and I know that's not a popular idea, but what I've read about epidemiology suggests it is one of the major things you can do to halt the spread of a pandemic, because it doesn't just pull the kids out of school, it keeps all the people who would have to go to the school to pick up the kids and drop off the kids, it keeps them from interacting, and then the people who have to stay home with the kids can't really go out and do things, so they have to stay home, and it effectively reduces the population that's mingling dramatically, and then you can't spread the virus. So I'm in favor of the schools closing. I think the social experiment that I'm hoping the UK is engaged in, and this isn't just some crazy plan to kill off all the old age pensioners so we don't have to support that social net for them and break the NHS, which the Tories have been trying to do for a while. It's very hard not to see those as 2 active goals of the government. I'm hoping that they are trying a social experiment, a different way of dealing with the pandemic. I don't know. I don't have that much faith right now. I have a lot of paranoia and a lot of, oh God, they're trying to kill us all, and not a lot of faith that cooler heads will prevail, that scientists are being consulted. If they are doing those things, then the UK government is doing an absolutely terrible job of explaining the reasoning behind what they're doing and how they're hoping it will play out. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm very stressed. I'd like the schools to be closed. My husband and I said that when there's the first confirmed case of coronavirus here in Inverness, that we would pull our kids out of school. There is one case confirmed in the Highlands. The problem is they're largely trying not to test anyone. If you think you have it, they're like, oh no, just, unless you're dying, don't tell anyone about it, just stay home. Don't report it, don't. So how are they going to know how saturated the population is I don't understand it. It makes me stressed. I'm very stressed about this. I'd like them to close the schools. I'd like the kids to be home. Anyway, there is a confirmed case in the Highlands. We've only got numbers for the county, so I don't even know if it's here in Inverness, except in as much as if someone in the county needs hospitalization, the hospital is here, the big hospital. So they will wind up physically in Inverness, if not having been contagious and wandering around in Inverness. So we have one more day to decide if we're going to let her go to school or not. And the other thing is everything changes every day, so it's hard to really know. My 3-year-old is in nursery, but she doesn't go to nursery on Friday or Monday, and we didn't go. She normally has gymnastics on Friday, and we just didn't go to that. I had been thinking that there's only one more week before the school holidays, but there are 2 more weeks before the school holidays, the Easter holidays. And we're supposed to go, we have reservations to go to a hotel for one of those weeks, which we did last year and had a really good time. And I've got them booked into classes, booked myself into a massage while they're booked into their classes. So yeah, until and unless the government says you can't do it, close it all down, we're not going to be able to get a refund on that. You can't just be like, oh yeah, insurance, please pay out for us just deciding it wasn't a great idea. Which, yeah, that's why you need the government to say shut this stuff down, because there are insurance and stuff procedures that can then pay out. That's the whole point of insurance. But yeah, I don't like how the UK government is handling this. I don't like how the US government is handling it, but that's even further removed from me. Every time I talk to my mother, I argue with her about staying home. She just had her 75th birthday. I'm like, please don't go out and interact with anyone at all, ever. Do you know in Italy they're not treating anyone over 65? Yeah, and that's, I mean, part of the problem in the US, everybody's concentrating on the fact, like, if they don't have socialized medicine and they don't have the statutory sick pay and stuff like people in Europe do, and the UK doesn't have the greatest statutory sick pay here isn't brilliant either. Since a lot of people are saying like their employers won't let them stay home unless they actually are sick, and then if they are sick, they're going to get fired and things like that. So it's not perfect here. But when I think about my mother, she's old. Old people are the ones who are having the biggest problems with this. But if she does get it and she's bad enough to need hospitalization, she has really good insurance, but they have reduced it a lot. And so her insurance isn't as good as it was when my father died. He was in hospital for a long time, and they had a $500 copay, which was $500 for the entire experience, which included being airlifted to the US from Mexico. They'd been on holiday at the time. The entire stay at the hospital, MRIs, everything. Whereas they've changed it now to it's a $500 per day instead of $500 per event. So even with really good insurance, my mother could conceivably lose her house and all of her savings, and that's hard enough for anyone, but at 75 years of age, an unmarried woman, well, a widowed woman, like she doesn't have anyone else who can help her, she'd be moving in with my brother. She can't even move here because the UK won't let, they do everything they can not to let you bring. There's a visa for bringing over an aged dependent, but they do everything in their power to make that one impossible to get. That is a very difficult visa to get. So she couldn't, like, come and live with us would not be an option. She'd have to move in with my brother and his wife and their child. Though they do have room because they bought a 4-bedroom house and there's only 3 of them in the house. But yeah, that's just, but my sister-in-law isn't working. My brother doesn't make enough to support my mother in addition to his family. And that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is she like it's that much money and she dies. Socialized medicine is such a good thing. You don't even know all the ways in which socialized medicine is such a good thing. And people in the US, I'm really worried about all of you, the whole country. Even, well, not so much people like Jeff Bezos, because they have enough money to save everyone and they choose not to. But yeah, that's like to face being sick and knowing that being treated for it will cost you all of your money, even if you die. You die and still have all these huge hospital bills that your heirs, your family members are then saddled with. But if you don't go to work, if you don't, expose yourself to getting sick, then you'll lose everything anyway. It is a really hard place to be at right now. So yeah, here in the UK, I wish they would close the schools. In the US, I wish they would roll out socialized medicine and universal basic income and all sorts of other things. But good luck, everyone. Right now, I think there's 121 cases in Scotland, which is a low number. It's not an excessive number. I mean, like Italy, China, their numbers are huge. Even London has significantly more people than the entirety of Scotland. So I feel we're on the cusp of it getting bad, is my problem. I think we're on the cusp of it getting bad, and we're not doing anything to prevent it. Because the UK government has decided to engage in a social experiment to see if they can control how many people have it, because we're all going to get it anyway. And I'm not worried about my family getting it. We're all going to get it anyway. But there's a lot of vulnerable people out there. And I think I'm worried that this way is going to get them all killed. Yay! That's a happy note. This is such a stressful time. I don't blame anyone if you skipped all of this. Hey, happy news! My 7-year-old has decided she's old enough to ride her bike to school and back all by herself. It's a little over half a mile, so we said, if you think you're ready, then go ahead. And so yeah, she did that on Friday. She rode her bike to school and back by herself. One of the other mums said that their child is nowhere near ready to ride their bike in the road, and I'm like, oh, no, she's not in the road, she's on the pavements. Yeah, no, she's not ready to ride her bike on the road either. But on her bicycle, she's nice and high. She's got a really bright colored helmet. She's easy to see. She knows to stop, and we've talked about where it's safer to cross the road. We live on a kind of a blind curve, so please don't cross the road right at our blind curve. Cross the road in the middle of the road and then come around. We're just in a little cul-de-sac, so just come the other side of the cul-de-sac and that's plenty safe. Yeah, so fingers crossed that will continue to go well. Although if we pull her out of school, it doesn't really matter. But we will still let her ride her bike. I mean, the whole thing about canceling the schools is you spend less time with other people. It doesn't mean you can't leave your house. She can ride her bike up and down the neighborhood without being a danger to anyone. So yeah, that's the good, happy news. She did that, and that was really good. For myself, one of the other reasons I didn't get much knitting done since last we spoke is I did something to my Achilles tendon and absolutely was in so much pain that I literally couldn't walk on it. It started hurting a week ago, Monday night, and by Tuesday I could not. My husband and I walked both our kids to school. Tuesday's the day they go. Catherine was going all day to nursery, so we walked both our children to school. And by the time I got home, I'm like, this really, really hurts. And then as the day went on, by the time it was afternoon, it hurt so much that I actually called the doctor and went for an appointment. And by the time I got there, I could kind of walk on it. It was painful, but I could do it. And then by the time it was school pickup, the doctor said I hadn't snapped it. And so she gave me strong painkillers. and refilled my inhaler, which is good because I've had such a problem getting an asthma appointment. And the asthma appointment I finally had was back in December when I was so poorly and I had a fever that day, over 38 degrees, which is something like 100 degrees in Fahrenheit. High fever. So I had to cancel that appointment, and then I finally got an appointment for April 9th, when it's probably going to be peak everything crazy because of coronavirus here and having to not go. But she did renew. She gave me an extra one of my daily inhaler, which is good because I'd run out of that one. So I should have like 3 months. If I don't get sick, my inhaler should last me 3 months if I use it once a day. But yeah, so I've got that again. But she gave me really strong painkillers, and I haven't taken one of them. Have not taken a single one. By the next day, my ankle was a bit stiff, and I can still feel it's not as strong and flexible as the other one, but it hasn't particularly hurt since then. That Tuesday, even with not being able to walk on it, still wound up being a 20,000 step day for my Fitbit. You can't see my Fitbit. My Fitbit was still a 20,000 step day, which is the high end of my normal. But I'd lost the entire Tuesday. It was supposed to be a good day. It was supposed to be a good day for recording a podcast and a good day for knitting. It absolutely was not. It was not a good day for anything. And then with it just generally being tender, that also, the concern for it negatively impacted. I don't know how to say this. It had an impact on my knitting, and I wasn't able to knit much. But I have no idea why it hurt so much that one day and hasn't hurt since. The doctor was like, oh yeah, this will probably take 6 weeks before it feels better. The next day. I have no idea what went wrong. But I think what triggered it was because Catherine broke her leg. When she broke her leg, and since she broke her leg, she has been less I don't even know how to say this. She's been less confident going potty. She wants me to pull her trousers down and lift her up and wipe for her and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's the crouching down to help her with that has made it problematic for my heel. That was putting a lot of pressure on my Achilles tendon. So I've been trying to back off on that with no particular success. She's very much, when she potty trained, she's very much like, haha, I can do it, I'm so big. And now she's like, actually, it's a lot easier if I make you do the work. I'm like, not for me, it isn't. So, ending on a slightly happier note. Yay, everyone is big and growing, and my ankle doesn't hurt anymore. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to record next week. Who knows if I'll have my children home with me and I will want to smother them with pillows or smother myself with a pillow or drink myself into oblivion. None of those actually sound that great, but they may by this time next week. Or certainly, is it Northern Ireland that's talking about cancelling their school, closing the school for 16 weeks? And then having summer holidays as usual and just picking up again at the start of next year. That does not fill me with joy. I want the schools closed, but I do not want 16 weeks plus 6 weeks of summer holiday trapped home with my children, and you can't even go out to the swimming pool or the park, or, well, we can go to the park, but can't go to any place where lots of people would be congregating all at once. Yay! Stay sane, stay safe, wash your hands, cough in your elbow, your sneeze pocket, achoo, achoo, achoo. And don't go out if you don't have to. Click and collect, food delivery, cancel plans. When I read about my friends going out and doing fun things, instead of going, yay, you're having fun, I'm currently thinking, oh God, we're all gonna die. So please don't die, especially you. You, be safe, stay well. Don't make me worry about you. I'm not really worried about me, I'm very worried about you. So I will hopefully talk to you next week. Thank you and goodbye.